It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. On this episode, we have the one and only, she's in the building, Dr. O. I say Dr. OK, but she's in the building, by the way. Miranda, she'll be talking about lead well. What does leaders lead well even mean? We'll figure that out. What's going on, Dr. O? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here. So thank you so much for allowing me to be your guest today. And I am Dr. Marrika King-Ortiz, or you can call me Dr. MKO.
Dr. MKO in the building, by the way. Now, we're talking about leaders lead well, okay, or well leaders lead well. Take a moment, if you would, and what is your definition of leadership these days? I mean, it means a lot of things, a lot of folks, depending on if they're a leader of their home or a leader in their faith or a leader at the office or a leader as an entrepreneur. But take a moment. When you use the word leaders, what's your definition of a leader these days?
When I think about the term leader, I think about someone who is willing to serve others, who's willing to be on the front line, who's willing to make hard decisions, no matter if the outcomes doesn't always come out in their favor, and someone who is compassionate and love people.
I love the compassionate part. That's very important. Now, I'm curious, why are we having this conversation these days? I mean, leaders lead well, or well leaders lead well. Seems like, and I always like to share, not being funny, we have AI. And then go to AI and say, tell me how I should lead today. Here's all my problems. It'll even write their emails for them so they can communicate. And they're the boss. So why are leaders struggling these days to lead well?
Well, burnout is a real thing. Mental health is a real thing. Trauma, PTSD, all those things are real. And just because a person holds a title as a leader, whether, like you said, in the church or in business or community, what have you, they still bring stuff with them. And if they're not addressing their concerns to make sure that they are leading well, that they are well first, so that they can lead well, they can bleed onto those that they're leading.
One of the things I admired about us is when you first we had a conversation, you talked about well leaders. I was like, well leaders. Like, what is a well leader? Like, does it mean I'm well? Does it mean I'm mentally well, physically well? Take a moment and give us your definition of well, WELL leaders. And ladies and gentlemen, I know some of you are curious about who is Dr. MKO. What's her backstory? What's her background? We'll get to that in a moment. Others of you say, "She already read the bio. Okay, I'm good. I already Googled her. I'm good." Don't worry, I'm gonna have her share her own backstory and how she got here. But here's the question: well leaders. What is a well leader?
A well leader is an individual who has emotional intelligence, one that knows how to self regulate their own emotions, someone who is aware of the emotions and the state of mind of others, and they take that into account when they're making decisions. And so they're able to take that time to have self-care. They're conscious of those moments when they need to pause and rest. They're not ones that's constantly just on a go and functioning from that place of burnout and exhaustion.
I like that, by the way. So, well leaders lead well. We're going to get into at least two or three things that you can do to be an amazing and awesome leader these days. But first, Dr. MKO, tell them your backstory. Who are you, and what led you to being so passionate about what you're doing now?
Absolutely. So, again, my name is Marrika King-Ortiz. I am a licensed mental health clinician. I have been in the field of mental health for over 15 years. I've had my private practice. August will be 8 years. And so, mental health is a very important area for me. I've been wanting to be in the mental health field since I was 7 years old. And I'm sure that individuals are going to be like, what? Like, she knew that she wanted to be in the mental health field for that long? Absolutely. I saw the state of the community and I saw the need of some assistance when it comes to mental and emotional health. I saw individuals who were struggling with different things, such as drug and alcohol abuse. A more personal situation is I had a family member who struggled with alcohol and drugs. When I was growing up, and even as a little girl, I wanted to be a solution for that, for my family member, and I also wanted to be a solution for the community. And so I informed my parents, like, hey, this is something that I want to do. Therefore, I went to college, got all the education and the training that I needed to under my belt, and I began my journey as a mental health professional. And a bit of my journey, far as just even wanting to embrace this place of being a well leader, I found myself in a state of constant burnout. In 2006, I lost my brother due to a brain tumor, and he passed away at the age of 17 years old. And at the time, I was in college. I was a young mom, and I was just trying to figure out life. But because my brother passed away completely healthy, all of a sudden has a brain tumor, and he passes away at 17, I too thought that I may not live as long. And so I found myself just kind of just racing time, trying to establish a future and establish myself as a professional so that I could leave my daughter with something in case my life didn't last as long as I thought it may, because of my brother passing away so young. And something that I struggled with back then that wasn't like really a topic in the community, especially in the Black community, which was anxiety. I had my very first anxiety attack in 2006. My brother passed in January. I was in the hospital in August, not knowing why my heart was racing, and I just couldn't slow it down. I thought something else tragic was happening inside of me, but it was ultimately anxiety. And so it really helped to increase my passion for mental health and to help others to not function from that place of burnout and exhaustion, but knowing when you need to rest, knowing when you need to grieve and take a pause for yourself. And also, self care is really big too. So, that's a snippet of my story and a little bit of my journey as to why I became a mental health therapist.
Wow. You're so authentic. You're so transparent, and you're one of the folks I've had a chance to meet in person. So it's kind of cool to be on this other side and having this conversation with you. By the way, you talked about mental health, and for those folks that are watching that may come from the Shea Brown world, I have a little teeny world I'm in, and when there are health or mental problems, going to, not going to call them a counselor or seeking outside help or the shrink or whoever you may want to call you wonderful folks. It's a little taboo. Okay, we go to the minister of the church, we have a conversation, there's a prayer, we believe, and we just kind of move on. To the person that's watching now that says, I've been doing that, but I'm still struggling with anxiety. And what would you share to those folks that want to seek help outside of their local faith community? Nothing wrong with the faith community. I'm a Christian. But what do you say to those folks that says, man, why should I do that?
So, I'm a believer as well. And so I would say the Bible tells us that He wished that we should prosper and in health just as our soul should prosper. And just like God gave doctors, when I say doctors, I'm meaning medical doctors, when He gave them wisdom, because that's where it comes from. It's a practice. When He gave them wisdom, He also gave mental health professionals wisdom too. And so there are certain tools and resources and strategies that a professional can help walk an individual through. And sometimes it's good to speak to someone that doesn't have any biases, doesn't have any connection with the individual, so that you can feel comfortable with being transparent and open and knowing that it's a non-judgmental environment and you can speak freely.
Yeah, speaking freely is super important, and being able to go get help for folks who've been trained to do that. And they could be a believer. You don't have to be a believer to go, but just like you can still be talking to another believer. They're just coming from a different skill set. They want to lead well. They're like, okay, Jay, we'd like to get her view of the world, or maybe three characteristics that great leaders have that she would share of things they do so they can take care of themselves first. Do you have one, two, or three ideas that you can share with the audience?
One I would say is knowing your capacity. That is so important. If you don't understand and know what your capacity is, that's where that burnout comes into place. It's operating beyond where what your mind and your body can handle. Our minds are like computers, and even a computer has a certain level of memory, right? And so we don't want to operate outside of what our mind and our body and our emotions are telling us that we can handle. So being aware of that, all of this is going to fall under emotional intelligence. Also, self-care. And I often say self-care is not a luxury, it's a priority. Understanding and knowing that you taking care of your mind, your mental and emotional health is just as important as your physical health. And it doesn't have to be like an extravagant trip or something like that. It can simply just mean resting when your body needs to rest. It can simply mean pulling away and having some time to yourself when you wake up in the morning, maybe not rushing into your day, but easing into your day. Give yourself that additional 5-10 minutes just to do some breathing techniques and kind of recenter and ground yourself before you go out into the world and begin to pour into the lives of others. Because if you are not fueling yourself, what are you pouring from? That's where that burnout comes into place. And I will just conclude this question with this. Oftentimes, individuals say, you can't pour from an empty cup. Well, you're not supposed to pour from your cup at all. You're supposed to function from that place of overflow, filling yourself up, fueling yourself mentally, emotionally. And if you are, a spiritual being, if you are a believer of Christ or what have you, or any other faith that you may have, that you're able to fuel yourself in your spirit and be able to function from that place of an overflow. And those around you are supposed to glean from that. They're not supposed to receive from what's in your cup. Your cup is for you.
The cup is for you for sure, and use the overflow. What a great analogy. You use the term emotional intelligence about 3 or 4 times. And I just want to slow down. Some of you, you're hearing emotional intelligence for the first time, and some of you, maybe you're trained in emotional intelligence, and you just like to get Dr. MKO's definition of emotional intelligence and how it's been helpful today, helping folks who are healing, or helping folks who are dealing with past trauma, or helping folks so they can be well on the inside. So take a moment. Maybe I'm the only one, but take a moment to talk a little about emotional intelligence. What is it, if you don't mind sharing it? And then how are you able to apply that in the work that you're doing now, so we all can just be on the same page?
Absolutely. And so I'll make it very concise. So, emotional intelligence is being able to be aware not of your emotional state and where you're at, but also taking into consideration others. So, being able to self regulate, knowing when to pause, knowing when to um, rest, and things like that. So, really being in tune with your emotional and mental state and not allowing yourself um, to make hasty decisions outside of as it pertains to a leader, not making hasty decisions based off of your emotions, but being able to reel those emotions in, process them, feel them, and be able to be more logical when you have to make appropriate decisions.
So being able now to control your emotions, be able to use your emotions when you're making decisions, so you make the best decisions that's for you. I love it, by the way. Now, folks might be thinking, okay, Shay, she had a challenge early on. You mentioned your brother and him being called home early to the heavenly world. I'll say it like that. Take a moment, if you would. This is a good segue to a segment we have called Today is My January 1st. And there might be another moment in your life where there was a setback, there's a challenge, and you had to bounce back right away. But for everyone else who waits till this moment at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard every night to say these magical words that we love to say every night, and that is, today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you. Yay. Doesn't that feel good? And for all the folks who are joining for the very first time, thank you so much. You have choices. There are things you could be doing right now, and you tuned in with us. So we really appreciate it, because without you, we don't have a show, by the way. And today is my January 1st is our personal mantra here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is back there, the past really no longer equals the future. And so my question for Dr. MKO on the other side is 2 questions. Number 1, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number 2, what was a setback you had in your life, and how did you bounce back from it?
Wow. So if I were to respond to the January 1st question first, I would say just newness, clean slate. Those are just some things that come to mind when I think about January 1st. Fresh start. Those are the things that would come to my mind.
I
And
love it.
I
Thank
would
you.
so far, yeah, yeah, no problem. And so, as far as something that I like a setback that I've had, because on this journey called life, sometimes setbacks don't always happen just one time. As you evolve and grow, there's certain tests that come along the way. So I'll just speak to, um, let's see, geez, 2000 and like 12. I was laid off at my job, and I literally had to figure out life. And what ended up happening was, again, I did share that I'm a believer. In the Bible, it talks about Moses, and God had said to him, he asked him a question. He said, "What do you have in your hands?" And he said, "A rod." And that scripture has always helped me to reset when times has gotten hard in my life. And what the way that I apply that is my gifts, my talents, my skills. What do I know how to do to create wealth? Because the Bible tells us that he has given us what we need to create wealth. And so some of the things that I do know how to do are, well, what I was doing back then, should I say, I used to praise dance. So I was starting to teach dance. I started to do business consulting. I was helping individuals create their websites and all these different things. All while I'm doing this, God started to really cultivate the consultant and the coach in me. Like, I had already went to school for mental health, and I have my bachelor's in business, but I haven't really like put that on the front line of what I do. But that really started to bring that to the forefront for me. Therefore, I was able to build out clientele, and from that, God just began to breathe upon what I was doing. And in hindsight, I'm so grateful that he took me to the that scripture to be able to activate the things that's on the inside of me to bring forth the wealth that was needed.
Thanks for sharing, by the way. I love it. And thanks for all that you're doing, the changes that you're making in the world. One of my favorite questions I like to ask, we have a few minutes, we have some now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I like to frame it for the audience so they're clear that you've had a lot of mentors along this journey of life. You've read so many different books along this journey of life. But if you had to step back and say, wow, Shep, all the lessons of everything I learned, here's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given. What is it and why?
Mhm. I would say one of the things that came to my mind was, I remember one of my old senior leaders in church. She used to say, "You do who you are," meaning who you are, who God created you to be. Just do it, just be it, because that's who He created you to be. That's what you're supposed to do in the earth, and don't second guess it. Um, One of the things that I teach some of the individuals that I coach and I train is to address imposter syndrome and knowing who you are and stepping into your identity with boldness and confidence. And so those are some of the things that I just hear some of my past mentors, both professionally um, and spiritually, kind of just speaking those things into the atmosphere, either to me or one on one, or just amongst a group of individuals. But that's some of the things that really just came to my mind.
Ah, good. Thank you. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing right now? You seem to be having a lot of fun, seem to have a lot of joy, seem to be a well leader who's leading well. But what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
I enjoy the fact that I know that I'm working with a group of leaders, but I also understand with the tools and the skills that God has given me to share with others, I'm also impacting legacy and generations to come. because if they're able to take these tools, apply them to their lives, personally, professionally, what have you, they're in turn able to pour into the next generation, and then those skill sets hopefully will continue on down generations to come. And so I know that I'm meeting with individuals either one-on-one or in groups or what have you. I will not be able to reach those that they're connected to, but I understand the the assignment on my life and what it is that God has called me to do.
And you're here, and that's what's most so important. So when you're not out saving the world and making a difference for others, what do you do for fun these days?
I love the arts. I am definitely an arts person, whether it be listening to some music, going to a concert. I love laughing, so catching a nice comedy show or watching something on TV to make me laugh. I absolutely love laughing. And I definitely enjoy reading as well, and I love resting. I love rest for sure because we need that. We can't just keep going and going. I love to be able to pause and have stillness.
Me too, as much as I can. As we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? Because I'm not sure if you're taking on any clients. And number two, how can folks connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation? Where should they go? Is there a webpage, a website? Like, what should they do if they're watching right now?
Absolutely. So I am open to working with women leaders across all industries. And I would say, as far as connecting with me, you can go to my website, which is www.mkocollab.com. That is the way to reach me. And there is an opportunity to just complete a form or even complete like a little contact form or what have you online. And then we can definitely go from there. And I believe I answered all the questions.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I want to
Okay.
know how they can best connect with you. This is wonderful. Well, let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it and can't wait to have you back again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show, by the way. And I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're going up, you can't wait to get to that next level of success, whatever that looks for, or you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming. The one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. Hasn't changed. It's still the same. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. And we wish you all success. See you later. Bye-bye, everybody. We out.